Ukrainian officials say Russia has launched more than a dozen missiles targeting cities across the country in its latest wave of attacks. A number of explosions have been heard in the capital, Kyiv, but it's not yet clear whether they're linked to the city's air defences or strikes on the ground. Let's speak to Yuriy, who is an advisor to the Ukrainian Defence Ministry. He joins us live from somewhere inside Ukraine. What can you tell us about the strikes?
Hello, good afternoon. So this is something that we kind of expected, even though before the distance, if you like, between the massive missile strikes was, about 7 days. So now we have a consecutive massive missile strike. Some of the missiles have been intercepted above Kyiv. Some of them have found their targets. There have been explosions in central part of Kyiv. And we've just reported in the ministry that, one of the buildings that was damaged by today's missile attack was the Central Culture Palace of Kyiv. This is a venue where ordinarily children come on these days to celebrate New Year, to receive presents from Santa Claus. So fortunately for today, none of these events were scheduled and there were no victims, even though in some other parts of Kyiv there have been civilian casualties. But this is the nature of Russian terrorism. They strike culture, they strike children. In other parts of Ukraine, like the city of Khmelnytsky, Zaporizhia, Mykolaiv, there have been missile strikes again today, drone attacks. So the terror continues, and this is why when today Mr. Reznikov, our Minister of Defense, when he published his letter to Santa Claus, he asked Santa Claus to bring Ukraine more air defense systems in the next year and more powerful weaponry so that we can defeat our enemy.
President Zelensky had been warning that Russia could launch attacks to make his compatriots celebrate the new year in darkness. I wonder what you can tell us about the situation in terms of power and heating in the capital in the first place.
Well, look, at the moment, it is still too early to draw any conclusions because the air raid siren is still on. The mayor of Kyiv is still calling on people to stay in bomb shelters, and we are at the moment unable to say because the attack is ongoing. There have been reports just 5 minutes ago that another 20 missiles were fired from the Caspian Sea. So it is still too early to say. We hope that our air defense systems will cope today as well, and that we will celebrate New Year with electricity. But we'll have to wait and see how it happens.
Just briefly, President Putin has made a New Year's address in which he said that moral historical rightness is on Russia's side. Your response to that?
The International War Crimes Tribunal will decide who is right, who is wrong. We know who is right, and we are confident that there will be a time when Putin and his accomplices will stand trial and will bear responsibility for every atrocity that they have committed in Ukraine.
Yuriy, an advisor to the Ukrainian Defence Ministry, joining us live from somewhere inside the country and telling us, of course, that the attack by Russia of those missiles targeting cities across the country is ongoing.